And there in the background, I can see our two gladiators getting ready to fight. Now, if you two were either of the players' seconds, what would you be saying to your proteges right now?
Well, be calm, play as if there would be no stake, just focus. Well, of course, you have different strategy with white and black. Because with black, you have to go for stability and make fast moves. Don't make too risky options. At the same time, with white, you want to go and risk.
And do you approve of this Catalan that Anish has?
Always approve of the Catalan, Jovanka, one of the best openings out there for white. And Anish, he's a specialist. He knows his stuff, of course. So does Fabi. And it's one of the main lines of the Catalan. There have been a set of pawn trades, a set of bishop trades as well. White has gone for the doubled f-pawn structure, which has opened up the g-file. And look at white's last move. The king has shifted. The white rook is getting ready to plant itself on the g-file. And yeah, we could well see an attack from Anish Giri. White's center is rock solid for now, so he does have the ability to switch sides. And it's up to Fabi to maybe kind of dampen Anish's enthusiasm by trading pieces off a bit later, by finding some activity of his own. Black is solid, no weaknesses yet. What do you think of this, Judith?
Well, to be honest, I've played this with the black side, but I did not take on f4 really. I did not allow this, that the white pawn is capturing on f4. I think it's perfectly great opportunity for Anish because it's a complicated game. There are some tactics, and but still he has to complicate matters, right? Because knight e5 seems to be a very tempting move. At the same time, it means that you're exchanging a pair of bishops, so somehow it would be important for him to still keep the tension as much as possible, I believe.
Yeah, and talking about keeping the tension, we see Anish take his first pause of the game whilst he considers how is he going to make some progress. Black's position looks rock solid, and Fabi has managed one big thing, and that is he's managed to get the light squared bishop outside of the pawn chain and is active.
Well, now actually, I believe that Anish is in a decision-making mode because whether he keeps his knight or the bishop, because otherwise bishop f3 was kind of a threat already with black, and then black would have played c6, knight d5. So he decided that he wants his knight on the board.
And do you like that decision, Judith? It's still relatively blocked.
I like the knights.
Especially if you want to win attack, right?
And if you want to cause surprises in a short time.
Yeah, and he keeps his knights on the board, and Anish, okay, I'm surprised he rushed this decision, but maybe he was just scared of some black counterplay. Black was getting ready to strike out in the center with c5. He's dropped back with his knight. A set of knight trades, you would think, help black, but still, no sign of any queens coming off the board. White will have attacking chances no matter what happens. White's other rook in the corner on a1 is going to slide across. They're going to double up on the g-file, and you start to feel nervous as black in these types of situations.
And it's not just a kingside attack that you have to be worried about. White has a massive space advantage as well, and can torture Fabi for quite a while. You know, can stick a rook on g5. There it goes, just as I say it.
Well called. That rook on g5 stares across the whole board, and black has one nice piece, this black knight, but actually in reality it's not really doing too much. It's looking nice and pretty, but it's not got any real substance. And okay, a set of one knight trade there. What is black's plan?
Well, there we can see it. Fabi makes a very committal move, breaking open the position with c5 at the cost of a pawn.
f5.
Wow, f5 hitting the white knight, kicking it back, and he makes sure that he can capture on the c5 square with a piece rather than a pawn, which would have wrecked his own structure. Now this white rook looks like it's a bit offside, caught on the wrong side of that last break.
Now with that very impressive maneuver, it feels like Fabi is the one who is in full control, and it is the white king that is in complete danger.
Yeah, one move and suddenly our whole opinion of the position switches, right? Maybe it was a bit of a slip from Anish Giri to allow this little transition. Maybe it was important to bring that white rook in the corner, that dormant rook, into the game. Suddenly e5, Fabi's not letting the pace slip. He's been so quick up to this point, Fabi. Spent less than 2 minutes to get here.
Yeah, but also Anish is playing extremely fast. So it seems like if they would be playing about a 5 versus 7 minute game.
Too fast, you think, Judith?
Well, Maybe at some point it would be possible to spend a little bit more time with white. But of course, it's very difficult to adjust yourself after such a classical game and switch to a moderate, fast play, right? It's either you just want to flesh out all the moves, or you think, and then maybe you're going to be thinking too long.
And big question actually here. I mean, is this rook sacrifice that David is indicating, is that a threat? Can black simply get away with capturing the pawn on f4? It's interesting.
First of all, it is definitely a case for Fabiano that he has to stop for a moment and double check whether rook g6 is something real threat and it's danger. And he decided that it is.
Yeah, really nice move there. I agree with the feature chat. Very impressive from Fabi, just getting out of the way of that sacrifice. If he had taken this pawn, he was either winning or losing pretty much. And I think it was wise to just avoid any complications, any sacrifices, any attacks. So now what can Anish conjure up?
He has to capture back with the pawn, and he has, because otherwise the queens will get traded off. And Anish desperately pinning his hopes on a potential king side attack. Remember, Anish is in a must-win situation.
He's not hiding, I think, his plan very clear cut that h4, h5 is something that he can hang on to. And there is not too much other options for white, I believe.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky here for both sides. I think equally offside, these two knights right now. They would both love to have knights on the king side, but at least Fabi's creating some way in for his knight there on the d3 square. Ooh. White has some weak pawns. He's got to go for it.
h4 on the board, and now the big question is, can you do tricky moves like h6? Or no, he actually plays his rook to attack the queen, and now he's going to keep on attacking.
Yeah, we see the first hint that Fabiano can bully Anish Giri here with the threat of a repetition, the threat of a draw. He's happy to repeat. The white queen needs to find a safe square where she cannot get harassed by that black rook. So I'm expecting her to drop back, maybe to the g2 square. There we go.
Oh, rook e1 was kind of something to consider, but probably that's too optimistic. Queen g5.
Yes, and here we see a question mark attached to white's move. It looks very natural. I think in a must-win situation, this was the only way to play for Anish, but the problem is the white queen.
The f4 pawn is vulnerable.
She doesn't protect her pawns. The black knight has come in with gain of time, gain of tempo.
Yeah, and Fabi, plenty of time on the clock, under 4 minutes.
Knight e1 and rook d3.
Judith, you've spotted knight d1 today. You've spotted knight e1 for black.
Wasn't there a knight c1 at some stage yesterday?
Yesterday. These are the hardest moves in chess to see. Knights to the back rank, retreating knight moves.
But maybe after knight e1, queen h1 is the move.
Wow. Really passive, but maybe good enough.
Well, maybe the only move.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of evaluate these types of risky knight moves if you don't have too much time on the clock. Fabi down to 3 minutes. This move 31, they'll gain increment in 9 moves time.
Well, there are a lot of temptation for black. Rook c4, queen d6, really put extra pressure on the f4 pawn.
And he does go for rook c4. And for Anish, perhaps his only chance is to try to press that button that says chaos and go with it. h5. It's very difficult to recommend something other than going knight.
Yeah, retreating and defending with knight e2 does not look positive right now. Fabiano looking up at the big screen, checking the number of moves until he gets that 1 second increment. He knows he has plenty of time. 3 minutes should be enough to make 8 moves, 9 moves over the next few turns. And yeah, retreating with the white knight would just be so sad. I think Anish has just put his knight on a poor circuit, unfortunately. It was that f5 move earlier that really clamped down, forced white to kind of go all in on this attack now, but it's too slow.
It is too slow, and if the knight were to jump into d5, then black at the very least, I was going to say queen e4. Yep. Oh, it's really looking terrible for Anish.
Yeah, even if black has to give up a pawn to get the queens off the board, I think that would kind of get to full safety. So any queen trade, white has to avoid at any cost. Better to resign than allow a trade of queens right now. Okay. What's Anish going to do? 4 minutes 30, his time advantage disappearing.
That's the least of the problem. I believe. I mean, practically b2 is hanging, f4 is hanging.
But once f4 drops, f2 drops as well, and it's not like black's pieces are awkwardly placed there. I mean, they're primed to start attacking the white king.
Yeah, we saw one of the featured chats a few moments ago, believing that Anish might make a comeback, and there's still possibilities if Fabi gets nervous. One slip, and White's pieces will flood towards the black king, but no way through. How is he going to gamble? He's got to gamble somehow now, Anish. If he kind of keeps defending, it's not going to work out well for him.
I think his only chance is in the queenless endgame. Trade off queens and play.
Sad
Or
necessity.
maybe pray.
Pray and play. Both.
You said it, Judith.
He's got to move, that's for sure.
And it's, well,
Almost level on the clock now.
totally decision time for Anish. And it's a sad decision to have to make.
2.5 minutes on this one move and counting. It shows how desperate the situation is. But you just got to move. Just move the white queen. Do something. Push the h-pawn. Do something.
And the problem is, the more he's looking at it, the worse it looks.
Yeah.
Right.
He knows it's bad. He just has to, but deal with it. Bad positions happen.
Okay, so he has moved the queen to g3. Is there a threat? That's the first question that Fabi will be asking himself. And for me, the answer is no. So
Pawn
he
drops. And okay, f3. So at least he's saved the second pawn for now. The white king. There's no checks. There's no hits on it yet. White.
Queen b4 can be
well,
6.
Ruthless from Fabi.
Yep.
He's forcing the queen trade here. Or maybe it's more than a queen trade. Maybe it's just a winning tactic. The white rook is trapped unless it takes the pawn on g6, in which case black captures on h4.
yeah.
f4 and rook d2.
And the queen is primed to come in and check the king.
That might be the clincher, this last move. Opening up black's king, but so well calculated from Fabi. He worked this out while Anish was thinking. And now the time advantage is no more. Anish down on the clock as well as losing on the board.
And there we see it. Anish resigns and Fabiano wins the Armageddon game with the black pieces. Very well played from Fabiano there. He seized his opportunity to turn the momentum in his favor and again making Anish look helpless. Very good game.
He looks in prime form. Fabiano Caruana, just recent times, just so quick, so confident, and his openings rock solid. Just no weaknesses to his game, and he's just racking up the results, getting those points on the board. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think it's very normal for whatever happens, right?